flailing around with the fuel system in my Dodge Viper part 2. So we've got the tank out and done a few little bits and pieces. I'll try and speed this video up a little bit. I watched the last one again and it's just slow, so I'll try and speed this up. What I have done is pulled the tank out again, pulled the reg out again, pulled the reg apart a little bit anyway. So pulled that jigger out, this jigger comes out of there, there's another seal that goes in there. I think that's another one-way valve maybe, which also doesn't work. I was hoping that I could maybe like either fix that or gut it and reuse it, but not gonna happen. So what I did is I measured up all these bits and pieces, and I went to this old bloke down the road with a little machine shop, and he machined this work of art up for me, which I'm gonna have to drill holes in. I feel bad about doing it because it's so pretty. I know I'm going to destroy it, but anyway, this bit is going to replace the reg, and so I have to put a return in from the aftermarket fuel pressure reg that I'm going to use, and a supply out. So what we've got to do is put a hole all the way through there, and then do a 90 coming out. That bit's going to fit on the bottom there, and that obviously goes from the fuel pump into there, then it's going to go out the top and into the car. This is a factory Viper fuel filter, female in, male out. That's the original fuel hose from the tank to the filter. I'm not going to reuse them. What I've done is I've actually got a VT V6 Commodore fuel filter and put that in instead. That's a male in and out 5/16. Fit that in the factory spot. I could get another Viper filter, have to import it from America. It's going to take months. I want a new filter now, so we're going to use that instead. And it didn't matter because I'm going to make new lines anyway. So we're going to mount the reg in the back there and run a semi-returnless system. This is what I've come up with so far. So we've got a Go Fast Bits fuel pressure regulator. I chose a Go Fast Bits fuel pressure reg because apparently they don't leak down. They've got some kind of seal in them that is more like a factory car, so the fuel pressure doesn't drop off after you turn the car off, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing all this, is because I don't want that long crank thing that Vipers tend to have. So it was not too bad. I think recommended retail's $300. I managed to find it somewhere on the internet for about just under $200, so that's pretty cool. And what we have is, this is going to go out of the tank. It's a EFI quick connect through a one-way valve into the reg, and then from there, from the reg into the fuel filter, and then onto the engine, and then the return is going to go back into the tank. I haven't cut that down because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to route that yet, but that's the fitting monstrosity that we're going to end up with. So these two fittings here are going to have to get drilled and tapped into that beautiful alloy thing that I'm going to destroy. So let's rock and roll and see how that goes. That's what we've ended up with. Thread for supply, and out to the reg and whatever, and then that one's the return, so it's threaded and it just drops back into the tank like the stock one. Whack some fittings in it, see how it fits. So this is us back together. Supply and return, clicks in beautifully. barb fitting, and then the return just drains straight back in, which is exactly the same as factory. And you can easily return this back to stock if you ever want to, but why would you? Because this is better. Righto, so we've got our improved, hopefully, fuel system in, regulators mounted, as you can see, right at the back where the tank finishes. Bottom line just does a nice fat loop into the Commodore filter, so I've given myself lots of loop there so that when I change the filter in the future I can, you know, unbolt it and pull it down a fair way, so I can easily undo that top fitting, which is a bit of a issue on Vipers. It's a bit hard to get to sometimes. Got my one-way valve over here, and then my supply and return, so we'll tuck them down there, and then we'll try and get this tank in. Oh, that's good. That's full of dirt now. Super fantastic. Yeah, so try and get the tank in. Pro tip, fuel pressure regulator, don't put it there. It's in the way of the tank. The tank won't go all the way in. So much pain. New plan, because it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm over it. Zip tied this bad girl. Just tucked it behind there, should be out of the way. Double zip tied, or triple zip tied. It's gonna be fine. Finally got everything back in. She's all done. Except those, gotta remember to do them. But good enough to start. I primed it and got all the air out last night. But obviously I couldn't run it because by the time I was done it was like 10:30. Neighbours wouldn't have appreciated it. But we're running about, I don't know, 60 psi. It does sort of drop a little. So I'm going to start her up. Hopefully if there's any other air in there it'll purge out, and then we'll set the base pressure. Backed it off a tiny bit and I've locked up the nut on the reg, so we're going to run with 60 instead of 55. Managed to burn my arm and my knee on the exhaust while I was doing it. I'll go for a drive soon.